institution. It doesn't mean anything today. We live in a mental institution. 'Cause everything's crazy, crazy, crazy. They're doing away with borders. It's a new world. It's a new day. There is a new world order coming to your town. You better get ready. You better get ready. It's a new day. It's a new way. It's a new day, new day. It's a new way. Hey there, boys and girls. I'm Wild Bill, and I just rode into town. Look out, all you bad guys out there. I'm fixin' to blow the whistle on all your evil plans. Yes, it's Saturday night, and you are not going to believe what I got for you right here on Revolution Radio.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
That's right. Welcome to the Samsel Report. We're coming to you live from my personal isolation tank right here in St. Louis, Missouri. The number to call in with your thoughts and comments is 314-720-6835. Oh, yes, 314-720-6835. So jot that down, okay? All right, 314-720-6835. So feel free to call in, because I want to hear from you, okay? All right, well, I tell you what, let's get this here show on the road. Ladies and gentlemen, our government is a cesspool of corruption. Oh, yes, our industrial might is a thing of the past. And our Constitution and the Bill of Rights are being trashed by a treasonous, out-of-control government intent on enslaving the American people. I know, yes, I know, and you know, and everybody knows. That sounds just like some low-budget horror movie. But I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it sounds just like something out of the Twilight Zone. But you know what? Do you know what? We live in the Twilight Zone. Oh, yes. You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance. You are bombarded by the conditioning illusion projected forth by corporate and government-controlled mass media. A world of mind-controlled automatons, unable to think or speak out or stand up for themselves. You're entering a world where everything is just the opposite of what you think it is. You are living in the Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone. Oh, yes, indeed. We live in the Twilight Zone, ladies and gentlemen. The mainstream media is a weapon being used to control and dumb down the American people. Even as they are raped financially, their rights and liberties trampled upon, and America destroyed by design. And now it's time for an important message, especially for you listeners out there. Oh, yes, because this here program on Revolution Radio is listener-supported. And that means you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you like this here network and you like this here program, then please send us money. Okay, now we don't want a whole lots of money. No, all we want is whatever you can spare. That's it. So please help to fund this broadcasting network. And let me tell you something. Oh, yes, let me tell you something. You need this here network. Revolution Radio is the voice of truth and freedom that you won't hear anywhere else. So I tell you what, please help to support informative, entertaining, fabulously original, innovative, cutting-edge, enlightening, mind-expanding, and awe-inspiring programs just like this one. Yes, it's Wild Bill's Headline Roundup on Revolution Radio. So send us money. Okay? Now, would you do that for Wild Bill? Would you do that? Okay. All right. Okay. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? We live in a nation of sheep. Mindless, uncaring sheep. Sheep that care more about pop culture, body piercing, rap music, sex, Hollywood, sports, partying, and booze than they do about freedom, liberty, and their God-given rights. Oh, yes, today, in the land of the sheep and the home of the slaves, the mindless minions of mass media mental manipulation are moved more by moronic movies and monotonous music. Oh, yes, they got their ears, their eyes, their mouths, brains closed, shut, locked up, shackled by the talking heads and the walking dead. They've been dumbed down and dim-witted. Oh, yes, their brains have been drained, and perhaps that explains how they're led by their noses, as far as that goes, and even exposes why they can't count their toeses.
They're thick as a brick and dumb as you please. I've seen greater intellects swinging through the trees. I've seen more aware and concerned creatures floating belly up in a pond. I've seen more considerate and thoughtful beings stuck to flypaper. I've seen more enlightened entities growing on a pile of dung. Yes, we are surrounded, encircled, entrapped, and overwhelmed by vast quantities, by multitudinous hordes of brain-dead sheeple. But there is hope, ladies and gentlemen. Oh no, do not despair, for the brain-dead sheeple in all their ignorant glory can still be awakened from their media-induced stupor. Oh yes, their heads can still be recovered from the dark, dank, and smelly inner recesses of their lower intestinal tracts. Yes, they might still be coaxed to emerge from their colonic prisons. Yes, help is on the way. It's the Samsel Report. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. One simple dose of the Samsel Report has been found to instantly cause anal discharge of cranial burial. Yes, it is now possible for the sheeple to see the light of day. Yes, they can now breathe deeply the sweet air of truth rather than the noxious fumes of media and government propaganda. The Samsel Report, heard weekly, is guaranteed to dislodge head from ass like nothing ever experienced before. How is that possible? Well, the Samsel Report is the only show that contains humor as its primary active ingredient. Humor is dissolved instantly by the body, causing uncontrollable laughter that has been actively proven to stimulate mental activity. Sheeple can experience dramatic results within 2 short hours. And the effects of Wild Bill's sarcastic wit can last for days. Yes, it is the Samsel Report, and I tell you what, it is expanding. Oh yes, the Samsel Report is growing in popularity. That's right. Oh man, I'm reaching more and more people on more and more networks. So look out. That's right. That's right. Okay. All right now, buckaroos. Do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Well, let me tell you. It is time for Wild Bill's Headline Roundup. Oh, yes, indeed. All the news that you won't get from the mainstream media. That's right. It's time to saddle up with old Wild Bill, and we gonna hit the trail and get on out there and round up a whole mess of them there headline critters. Okay? Are you ready, buckaroos? Are you ready to ride? Are you okay? All right, well, let's ride then. Hi-ho, sweetheart, away! That's right. That's right. Man, oh man. We gonna collect us up a whole mess of them there headline critters. Are you guys all ready to go? You ready? Okay, 'cause here comes the first headline. Here comes the first headline. Okay. Our first headline. Putin calls America godless. Even a liar tells the truth occasionally. Oh, yes, that's our first headline. Yes, indeed, Russian President Vladimir Putin has criticized Western nations for straying from their Christian roots. Oh, yes, Putin's statement made during his State of the Union address this past December contends that America has become a godless nation. What he said was, many Euro-Atlantic countries have moved away from their roots, including Christian values. Policies are being pursued that place on the same level a traditional family with same-sex partnership. This is the path to degradation. And in this case, Putin comes closer to telling the truth than any of the politically correct anything goes, if it feels good, do it liberals in Washington, D.C. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The liberal left has been successful in bringing about exactly what President Putin said has happened in the United States. So, you may not like the messenger. You may not like the messenger, but you got to admit, the message is accurate. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So I tell you, stick it on in. Get on in there. Get your cell phone in there. Get on in there. My goodness. There you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Are you ready for the next headline? Are you sure about that? Okay, 'cause here it comes. Our next headline. Illegal immigration invasion. Demographics are changing by force. And it's all about getting votes and keeping power. That's the headline. That's how it reads. I just read them off here, you know. Okay? All right? Listening to the lamestream media, listening to the media, listening to their reports, especially by MSNBC, of course. Don't you just love MSNBC? Americans are being told that the demographics in this country are changing. But if the demographics are changing, in what direction are they changing? Why? And for what purpose? These changes are not natural, but orchestrated. That's right. Change by force. Oh, yes. I tell you what, at a panel held in National Harbor, Maryland, sponsored by the Eagle Forum and the Center for Immigration Studies, Ann Coulter, Oh, yes, that's right. Ann Coulter asserted that legal immigration has quadrupled in the last 4 decades, an increase that has been part of the Democratic plan to increase their voter base. That's right. That's right. And we have a clip. Oh, yes, we do. So I tell you what, let's go directly to the clip and find out what old Ann Coulter has to say.
Well, certainly they've noticed on MSNBC where they are celebrating the browning of America. But if you don't celebrate it, you're a racist. It is going to be people who are not from America who are going to be, in theory, funding older white people who are getting to their Social Security Medicare age. I don't think that can last. I mean, at some point, they're going to say, screw it. To quote Mickey Kaus, I used to think everything was about sex. Now I realize everything is about immigration. It determines every single other issue. And of course, that's how we've got to pick our presidential nominee. And just, a little footnote, that's why Mitt Romney was my favorite candidate. He was the most aggressive on immigration. But amnesty is forever, and I think you got to vote for the Republicans one more time and just make it clear. But if you pass amnesty, that's it, it's over. Then we organize the death squads for the people who wrecked America.
So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. How do you like that? What do you think of that? Huh? What do you think of that? Man, oh man, let me say this about that, okay? If legal immigration has quadrupled in the last 4 decades, illegal immigration has gone ballistic. That's right. And the illegals have organized and become quite forward, brash, impudent, and audacious. And it's true. The Democrats and even some Republicans support amnesty and legalization in the form of comprehensive immigration reform. Right? But it's not being done to garner more votes. Oh, no. No, the truth is that it is being done to facilitate the globalist plan to bring about a North American Union. That is the ultimate goal. It's what nobody in the District of Criminals or the media wants to talk about. The left denies it and calls the right racist. That's right. We're racists, right? The right points to the left and says it's to get votes, right? The globalist plan for an NAU? Well, that's flatly denied. That's denied. It is a conspiracy theory. But I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, not everybody is as stupid as they think we are. Oh, no. Oh, no. So let's stick them in there in the corral where they belong, okay? Get on in there. Get yourself on in there. Get on with your... We don't fall for that guff. We don't believe all that malarkey. I tell you what, man, oh man, how stupid did they think we really are? Well, obviously they think we're pretty stupid, right? Am I right? Okay, all right. I tell you what, though, let's go on to our next headline. As long as we're on the topic of illegal immigration, let's go on to this next headline, okay? This gathering of open borders extremists and Mexican nationals will scare the pants off of all law-abiding Americans. That's the headline, okay? That's how it reads. Here's the story. A massive protest led by open border extremists and Mexican nationals took place at the Otay Mesa border crossing near San Diego on March 10th. At one point, it was feared that the crowd on the Mexican side would rush the crossing. But California Border Patrol agents were forewarned and prepared to forcibly repel them. Okay? All right? Let's take a little peek. Let's take a little look and see what was going on there. Okay? Here we go. Okay, all right, enough of that. Enough of that. This is what's taking place not only on the southern border, but this summer, look out for it to hit the streets of America. Who do these people think they are? Where do they come off with this crap? This is totally unacceptable, ladies and gentlemen. Where will it end? Where will it end? I tell you, when the American sheeple agree to acquiesce to accept immigration reform and ultimately a North American Union. Okay? When the wetbacks get their way. That's right. When the streets of America look just like the streets of freaking Mexico. Okay? When we all have to learn to speak Spanish. Okay? That's when it'll all end. And don't give me any of that crap about being a racist. Okay? All right? I tell you what, I'm going to stick it in the corral with the rest of them cows. Okay? Get on in there. Get your fat Mexican. Get on in there. Get on in there. Get yourself on in there. Okay. All right. Okay. In there with the rest of the big fat cows in the corral. Okay? All right? Okay? Let's move on to our next headline. All right? Our next headline. Student suspended for wearing his pro-America t-shirt. Are you ready for this? Here we go. Grand Island High School in New York. All right? Sophomore Shane Kinney wore a t-shirt to school with a message supportive of the Second Amendment on it. That's right. The kid refused to take his shirt and turn it inside out. He refused. And you know what they did? They suspended him. That's right. So much for free speech, right? You can't wear a t-shirt that has an American flag or supports the Second Amendment. Okay? But I tell you what, you can walk around with your pants down around your knees. That's right. You can walk around with your underwear sticking out for the world to see. That's fine. That's good. Okay, you can do that, but you can't wear a t-shirt with an American flag or one that supports the Second Amendment. Right? 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 Am I right? Huh? Get on in there with your stupid, ridiculous nonsense. Get on in there. What? Get on in there. My God, I tell you. Is it me or what? Is it me or what? Huh? You're not going to believe this next headline. No, you're not. I bet you ain't going to believe this next headline. The U.S. court, a U.S. court declares the American flag could incite violence. Oh, yes, you heard right. Yes, you did. Last week, I told you about a California high school that banned the wearing of T-shirts that displayed the American flag during Cinco de Mayo. Okay? All right? When a number of teenagers showed up wearing T-shirts bearing the image of the American flag, administrators at Live Oak High School instructed them to turn their clothes inside out to avoid potential violence by the Latino students. Oh, no, I tell you what, you don't want to piss off the Latino wetbacks. Oh, no, you don't. They might get violent. They might start tearing up the place. That's right. The students have fought valiantly with the help of the American Freedom Law Center in an effort to protect the rights of American students to express their patriotism. That's right. The case finally reached the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, and the decision was a disturbing indictment of America's current social dysfunction. Okay? The court ruled that the school was within its rights to ban the T-shirts. The school must be allowed to prevent patriotic displays by citizens based on the possibility that non-citizens would be offended. That's right. And they might attack the American students. That's right. So you gotta, I tell you what, I tell you, this is insanity, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you know the American flag upsets these people, okay? You don't want to upset these people, okay? Especially on Cinco de Mayo. That's right, because they might raise hell and go crazy and start beating up on people and tearing up the school, right? Right? I tell you what, you don't like the American flag? You don't like the American flag? Well, then what the hell are you doing here? What are you doing here? Go back south of the border where you came from. Oh, yes. And I don't know about everybody else. But I have just about had a belly full of these people. So I tell you what, let's take them and let's put them, let's put them right where they belong, okay? Wouldn't it be nice if we could simply flush them right down the old porcelain commode? Huh? Wouldn't that be nice? Huh? Wouldn't that be nice? Man, all gone. Wouldn't that be nice? Huh? Okay, all right. Let's move on to our next headline. Are you ready for this one? Bank of America. You know the Bank of America? Bank of America. You know what they say? They say, sorry about the foreclosure. Here, have an Applebee's gift card on us. Oh, that's right. Man, oh man. Bank of America is sorry that we are foreclosing on your home. Yes, we understand the hardships that you're facing. We know that things are tough in our modern economy. That's why the Bank of America is presenting you with this here Applebee's $50 gift card and a one-time payment of $25. for you to spend in any manner that you see fit. Hopefully now, once you and your family are settled into your government-sponsored Section 8 housing unit, or even if your next place of residence is a Chevy Blazer, feel free to drop by and we'll be happy to be of service in all your future banking needs. Okay? That's from the Bank of America. Aren't they nice? Isn't that nice? Huh? Isn't that nice? Get your Bank of America butt right on in there. Get on in there. Take your Applebee's gift card. You know what you can do with the Apple? I got your Applebee's gift card right here. Okay? All right? Okay. All right. Let us move on, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Let us move on with the headline roundup. Okay? All right? Are you ready for this? Are you sitting down? You better sit down for this one. Okay? All right? American evangelist arrested for the second time in the UK for alleged homophobic comments. That's right. That's the headline. Here's the story. Evangelist Tony Miano, a retired police officer from California, was arrested for breach of peace in Dundee, Scotland this Wednesday, following a complaint that he had preached against homosexuality. Oh, yes, he was arrested for using homophobic language. Okay? All right, you got that? So let me get this straight. Or perhaps I should rephrase that. Huh? Because I certainly don't want to offend any fruitcakes out there. Okay? Because you know, free speech is a thing of the past, right? Right? We got to be careful not to offend anybody, right? You can't say this or that or whatever because you might offend the blacks or the illegal aliens or the queers or who knows, you might offend the Jews or the Muslims. You might offend fat people or skinny people or tall people or short people, bald-headed people, stupid people. You know what? You don't want to offend anybody, do you? Maybe we should all just keep our mouths shut. Huh? Maybe we should all just not say anything to anybody. Now, that makes sense. Doesn't it? Am I right? Everybody, just keep your mouth shut. Okay? And that ought to solve the whole problem. Okay? All right? There you go. There you go. Man, oh man. Now, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, man. I think the gay message is beginning to have an effect on me. Somehow, these gay guys are starting to look rather attractive. All that man flesh prancing about. All those muscles and the smell of sweat and the hormones and those buns. Maybe the powers that be are right about this whole gay thing. Maybe another man or a boy is just what the doctor ordered. Man, oh man, everything is coming up rainbows, ladies and gentlemen. All of a sudden here, you know? Why, there's nothing wrong with this. I don't know about you people, but just talking about this is giving me a boner. That's right. Man, oh man, I think I'm coming around here. That's right. Do you think they'd get mad at me if I played some Village People music, huh? Do you think... I suddenly have an urge to redecorate my house. That's right. Do you think I'd look good in ladies' underwear? Huh? Huh? What's wrong with that? What? Are you homophobic? You got a problem? Huh? I should have every right to ride the Hershey Highway if that's what I choose. That's right. That's right. How can America truly be a free country if my right to find happiness in some other man's genitalia is denied? Huh? Huh? Besides, promoting homosexuality and lesbianism is good for the Mother Earth. Did you ever stop to think about that? It's good for the Mother Earth. You see, less people, less strain on Mother Earth. Okay? I'm telling you. I've changed my mind about this whole thing now. Okay? That's right. We should all be homosexuals. Okay? It makes sense to me. That's right. That's right. I tell you what. Let's put that one let's put that one in the corral with all the... Get on in there. Get on in. You can't say this. You can't say that. You can't talk about this. You can't... Get on in there. Get on in there. Yeah, oh man. Is it me, ladies and gentlemen? Is it me? Am I losing my mind here or what? Huh? 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 Okay. All right, I tell you what. Let's move on to our next headline. Can we do that? Is that okay with you guys out there? Okay. All right. Here's our next headline. A report has come out, and the report says Obama spent $770 million of taxpayer funds to rebuild and renovate mosques overseas. Oh, yes, you heard right. You heard right. $770 million to renovate mosques overseas. With constant battles over cutting spending in the budget, the United States investment of millions of dollars to refurbish mosques as a goodwill effort in Muslim countries has upset many people. Oh, yes. The State Department claims that they are fighting Islamic extremism by refurbishing religious gathering places. That's right. And they're providing internet services, too. And they're building relationships with Islamic leaders. That's right. That's right. Taxpayer watchdogs are upset that the State Department is building mosques and paying for internet service to the tune of $770 million. All of this while Americans are struggling through the worst recession in decades. Okay? All right? We got a clip. We got a clip here. I tell you what, let's go to the clip and check it out. All right? Here we go. Here we go.
There is a lot of outrage this afternoon after a government deficit commission suggested huge cuts, including eliminating the interest deduction for home mortgages. It's in an effort to slash nearly $4 trillion in government spending. Well, we investigated some of that spending and found the State Department sending hundreds of millions of dollars to save mosques overseas. It has many taxpayer groups asking why. This 1,300-year-old Egyptian mosque was almost flooded by contaminated sewer water. It and other ancient Cairo mosques and churches were saved from destruction by U.S. taxpayers, part of a $770 million program to rebuild Cairo's sewer system. The checks are written by the U.S. State Department's USAID program.
We're spending money we don't have. This is all, basically on a gigantic credit card right now.
Millions more have been sent to places like Cyprus. The State Department displays before and after pictures of mosques refurbished with U.S. tax dollars.
I think it's very, very hard to explain to the American taxpayer right now who's having an extraordinary time paying their bills and making ends meet.
The State Department refused our request for an interview. We wanted to ask why it's using tax dollars to refurbish religious buildings overseas. Well, the State Department did send us an email saying it is fighting Islamic extremism by building relationships with Islamic leaders. But then one former Muslim says trying to buy respect in the Middle East just shows U.S. weakness.
And America is not showing its power. It's showing appeasement. They're laughing all the way to the bank.
Nani Darwish was born in Egypt, but she's no longer a practicing Muslim. She moved to America and has written books critical of radical Islam. She says most of the mosques in Egypt are run by extremists who have ordered former Muslims like herself to be killed.
We are building mosques to issue fatwas of death against people like me.
U.S. tax dollars also fund computers and mosques in places like Tajikistan and Mali. Here at this ancient mud brick mosque, the State Department has provided internet service along with the computer equipment needed to local imams.
So how do you like them apples? What do you think of them apples, huh? How do you like that? What do you think of that? I tell you what, while you and I go broke, the criminals in D.C. are building mosques, rebuilding them, refurbishing them for the Muslims, and they're hooking them up to the internet. There you go. There you have it. They're also importing 30,000 Muslims from Syria, too. That's right. It's all part of Obama's Make a Muslim Smile campaign. You know, just like his Make a Mexican Happy campaign, right? That's where he gives them amnesty and signs them all up for Obamacare. Or his Make a Pakistani Feel at Home campaign. That's where he sets them up in a convenience store, a gas station, or a liquor store in your neighborhood. Okay? Or his Make a Chinaman Smile campaign, where he ships them all of our jobs and all the dogs and cats they can eat. Right? Or his give anybody everywhere whatever the hell they want. That's another one of his campaigns. That's where he just hands out money overseas to anybody who wants it, and the American taxpayers foot the bill. Okay? $770 million to refurbish mosques and put internet service in there for these people. Okay? And he's bringing 30,000 of them over here from Syria, too. That's right. That's right. So you know what we're going to do with that, don't you? You know what we're going to do with that, don't you? Get on down in there, swirl around, going around and around. There, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. But our next headline isn't. Here comes our next headline. Are you ready for the next headline? Okay. Okay. You want to talk about Muslims? Let's talk about Muslims, okay? Are you ready for this? Huh? Muslim father accused of killing his gay daughter and her girlfriend. Okay? All right, check this out, okay? James Cosby was arrested this week for murdering his lesbian daughter and her girlfriend. Okay? Cosby bludgeoned his daughter to death and shot her girlfriend in the head. That's right. Crystal Jackson and Brittany Cosby, both 24, were murdered last week, and their bodies were found in a dumpster in South Texas. Okay? Now, you might not support all this gay rights bull hockey, but you don't go around assaulting or murdering them either. Okay? All right? That is, unless you're a freaking Muslim. Okay? Then it's okay. All right? It's okay if you're a Muslim. Okay? You still get your 72 virgins when you die. All right? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You can murder your daughters for any number of reasons. You can murder your wife for speaking to a stranger. Oh, yes. You can murder her for reading a Bible, for exposing her ankles in public. You can murder her for putting a dent in your BMW. Okay? You can murder your son because he didn't mow the lawn. Okay? You can murder your dog for crapping on it. Okay? You can murder your neighbor because you don't like his face. Okay? All right? These people are insane, ladies and gentlemen. And the Obama administration has just imported 30,000 more of them into this country from Syria. That's right. How do you like them apples? Huh? 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 So you better not piss off that Muslim guy that just moved in down the street. Oh, man. Or you'll be sorry. Okay, let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on with the headline roundup. Okay, can we do that? All right. What was that, sweetheart? What did you say, darling? What was that? I know, but that's in the next hour. We have to wait for the next hour, okay, darling? No. We got to wait until the next hour to do the Charlie Danger thing, okay? All right? Okay, all right. Okay. My God. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we live in the Twilight Zone. Oh, yes, we do. My God. We live in the Twilight Zone. Oh, yes. Now, for our next headline. Okay? All right, you ready for this? Okay. Porn stars. That's P-A-W-N. Okay? Not P-O-R-N. P-A-W-N. Okay? Porn stars. Porn stars funny man Chum Lee dies of an apparent heart attack. Okay? That's the headline. All right? Chum Lee oh, Jesus. I swear to God. Oh, okay. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I just think this is funny. This is hilarious, ladies and gentlemen. Chum Lee, okay? Now, he's one of the stars. That's right. He is a star of porn stars, okay? Porn Stars is that enlightening and mind-expanding reality show which airs on the, the History Channel, no less, okay? Well, Chum Lee has reportedly died of an apparent heart attack. My God! I'm flabbergasted, ladies and gentlemen. But don't you despair. Please don't despair, ladies and gentlemen. It turns out that it was all a false alarm, okay? Chum Lee didn't really die, okay? All right? He got on Twitter and he twittered that all was well, okay? All right. And you and I both know that you can't be dead if you're still twittering, right? You can't be dead if you're still twittering, right? Huh? It was all about ratings. It was all about ratings. You see, their ratings are going into the toilet. They're going into the toilet, so they had to raise up their ratings somehow. So they put out the message that Chum Lee was dead, okay? All right? They just needed the boob to... just needed to boost the boob tube ratings, okay? But I'll tell you what, let's put Chum Lee out of his misery, okay? All right, there you go. Hit. There you go. Oh, hold on a minute.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message. Revolution Radio.
Hey, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. You're riding with Wild Bill's Freedom Posse. That's right, you're riding with the Freedom Posse. Oh, yes, and the number to call in is 314-720-6835. Okay? 314-720-6835. I just went out and spent $18 here to get this here phone number, so you better hurry up and call in, okay? All right? Okay. All right. I tell you what, you are listening to the Samsel Report. This is Wild Bill's headline Roundup. Oh, no. Oh, man. Who left the gate open? Who left that gate open? You're letting all the sheeple out roaming around all over the place. My God. Close that gate. Close that gate. Will you close the gate? They get out, they wander around, they got this deer in the headlights look on their face. They don't know where they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what's going on around them. Huh? I tell you what, you got to keep them locked up. You got to keep them locked up. Okay? All right. Okay, they're back in there. Okay, all right. Now tell me this. Are you having a good time out there? Are you enjoying the Samsel Report tonight? Huh? Are you having a good time? Okay. All right. Oh, man, look at them all. Look at that. Look at that. They're having a good time. My goodness. Boy. Okay, so everybody's having a good time. 314-720-6835. You got that? Okay? All right. Okay, our next headline. Florida. Here's for all you guys down there in Florida, okay? Check this out. Florida just made off-the-grid living illegal, okay? Earlier this year, Texas brought several SWAT teams to a sustainable community. That's right, Texas. They sent several SWAT teams to a sustainable community and threatened to shut it down. They raided the place and threatened to shut it down. Now, each one of the community members were initially handcuffed at gunpoint and taken away downtown, and they booked them. They booked them. Book them, Dano. Book them, Dano. Right? It was called the Garden of Eden Community, and it was totally self-sustainable, right? Okay? Well, a few weeks ago, state officials ruled, Florida state officials ruled that Robin Speroni's off-grid home was illegal. Okay? Now, she lives off the grid in Florida. She is completely independent of the city's water and electric system. Okay? Florida officials cited the International Property Maintenance Code. You got that? The International Property Maintenance Code, which mandates that homes have to be connected to an electricity grid and a running water source. Okay? All right? So, according to this International Property Code, you have to be hooked up to the water and electricity grid. This is all a part of the United Nations Agenda 21. That's right. Oh, yes. And that also includes growing your own food. All right? Because across the country, the government has been assaulting people for growing their own food, for having a garden. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. According to the United Nations, self-sustainment is a no-no, people. That's right. So look out, all you preppers out there. Okay? All right? Look out, because they're going to come and get you. That's right. That's what I said. That's what I was doing. I know. I just said that. Okay? All right. Okay. She gets all excited, you know, sometimes. These headlines affect her strangely. Okay? All right. So I tell you what, let's go on to our next headline. Okay? Can we do that? All right. Okay, I'm going to do, but we have to wait until the next. Oh, do you pay attention to me when I'm talking to you? Huh? We're going to do that, but we have these other headlines. We have to. You see these headlines here? Do you see these headlines? Look, do you see these headlines right here? Do you see them? Huh? Okay, all right, okay, all right. We have to finish them, all right? Okay? Okay, all right. All right, so our next headline, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on a minute, we have a phone call. My God, we have a phone call. Hold on a second. Here we go. Let's check it out. Hello, caller. How are you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Wild Bill? My wife and I enjoy your show. In fact, I'm known as Wild Bill from Lake Tahoe, California. So there you have it.
Oh, man. All right. So is that where you're calling from? Where you calling?
South Lake Tahoe, Nevada.
Oh, man. Oh, you way out there in God's country.
I'm way out there. Listen, I'm a retired attorney. I appreciate a lot of stuff you talk about and everything. I've got a ranch out in Kansas, so I understand getting on in there, them little doggies. Get on in there, them little doggies. I gotta understand all that.
Right.
Hey, listen, I got some good news. Some good news here. We got a federal judge in Missouri who knows what's going on. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw this a couple of weeks ago, but he issued a ruling from the bench in federal court there in Kansas City that now there's a law. A lot of people don't know this, but if you're driving down the road and you see a cop that's kind of hiding out in the bushes, right, and you pass him and you're driving up the street and you blink your lights at someone coming the other direction to indicate to them, hey, you better slow down. There's a number of laws in a number of states that say you can't do that and you can get a ticket. Well, and I forget the judge's name, but he came out with a ruling and said that's an infringement of your First Amendment, and you have every right in the world to blink your lights if you want to.
Communication is free speech.
Free speech. So anyway, that's something good finally on the radar from a federal judge.
Oh, man, that's good. That's good. Hey, thanks for calling up and letting us know that. If you live in Missouri.
I have a show, and I just met Nick and Annie. Is that correct? Rick and Annie.
Oh, yeah. I know them.
Yeah, I just met them recently. I have a show here on 5 p.m. on weekdays, except for Wednesdays here on Revolution Radio on Studio B. And I just want to let you know that I'm a big fan. I'm Angela Black.
There you go. Angela, hey. Hey.
I hope to Skype with you at some point. Big fan. I think you're adorable.
Oh.
Get on in there.
Get on in there.
All right, Wild Bill, we'll talk to you later. This is Wild Bill from Lake Tahoe.
Oh, God bless you. Take care of yourself now.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
All right. I tell you what, if you live in Missouri and you see a cop on the side of the road hiding behind a billboard or something and you flash your lights, that's perfectly all right. You can do that, okay? There you go. Now, that's some good news, right? Am I right? Am I right? Huh? What do you think about that, sweetheart? That's what I just said. That's good news, right? There you go. Okay, all right, okay. I tell you what, let's move on to our next headline, okay? Our next headline. Or did we finish that one? Didn't we finish that one? Look out, all you preppers out there. Oh, hold on. Here's another phone call. Hold on. We got another phone call. Hello, phone caller.
Hey there, Wild Bill Man.
Hey, how are you? And where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Montana. I wanted to make sure you get your $18 worth, man.
Chokes me up.
Hey, you cracked me up, too. I'm glad I could put a smile on your face, man.
All right. Hey, great.
Salud.
Man, I went out, spent $18, got my own Skype number here. So I'm looking, where is everybody? You know, and here you are. So thanks for calling in, man.
You betcha, man. I like listening to you. You put a big smile on my face, and that's what we need, a good old smile.
Oh man, well, you know, hey, I give it a try, you know. I try to do my best, man.
All right.
Well, thanks a lot for calling. Hey, you got any words of wisdom for us?
Little words of wisdom, huh?
Yeah. Give me a few words of wisdom.
I think.
Yeah.
If we. Little words of wisdom. Yeah, I think we need a whole bunch of wisdom. I can't even find any wisdom right now.
I tell you what, you can't find it in Washington, D.C. There is
not at all, man. They're proving that every day.
Oh, man.
Pirates in suits. That's what they are, pirates in suits.
Exactly. And they're killing us, man. They're killing us, I'm telling you. They're killing us. So
we're letting them. We use their money, you know. We could stop it all, man. We could just, you know, stop buying their crap, you know, make a boycott calendar, and every month boycott a big corporation. Boom.
Yes,
1 month.
Could get people.
Boom, the next month, and then they'll know that they're the next month coming up. Boy, they'll all start jumping left and right.
Oh yeah.
They only listen to money, you know. That's what they listen to.
Hey, that's their God, man.
That's right.
That's what.
And we keep it in their pocket.
Oh,
we're the ones that could pull it out.
Oh, you know, we're taking a pay cut. You, me, and everybody else, we take a pay cut every month. Did you know that? Because the dollar is worth less and less every month.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to go to war pretty soon and fix the dollar. Don't worry. And everybody's going to love it. You know, they you know, that's what we do. We wait till the dollar gets a little down there low, then we go start a war somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's the answer, right? Right?
Yeah. Take the bank or get bombed.
Well, hey, thanks for calling in, man. God
All right, Wild Bill, you have a great night. Salute.
You take care, man. You are listening to the Samsel Report. This is Wild Bill's Headline Roundup. And what time is it? 10:14? Is it 10:14? It's 10:14, right? Am I right? Okay, all right, okay. So I tell you what we'll do. Let's go to our final headline, okay? And we're going to get serious now. Okay? Seriously, all right? If they come for your guns, are you ready to die? Okay? Now that's pretty serious. All right? If they come for your guns, are you ready to die? And here's a few lines from that article. You can go to my website, check this article out. Okay? But here's a few lines from this headline. This country was built on the right to bear arms. Without guns in this country, all other amendments would be null and void. Our framers were very clear on this. If my government comes to take my guns, they are violating my constitutional rights. It is not my right at that point, but my responsibility to respond in the name of liberty. If they come for our guns, then it is our duty to defend our constitutional rights. If they come for your guns, it is your right to use those guns against them. You are protected by our Constitution. We would not be ruled by a tyrannical government in the 1770s, and we will not be ruled in 2012 by a tyrannical government. There is no difference. This is a case of right and wrong. As of now, the Second Amendment stands. It has never been repealed. Okay? If Feinstein or Barack Obama have a problem with the Constitution, then they should be removed from office. When push comes to shove, many people may give up and submit to being ruled. I believe that our government is banking on this. That's right. They are making us decide if we want to die free or submit to their rule. When they come for your guns, will you stand or will you submit? I, myself, will stand, and I will feed them lead. They come for my guns, they will get lead. Okay? All right? So go to my website, check out this article. If they come for your guns, are you ready to die? Okay? And I tell you what, personally, I'm 60 years old here. I've already lived for 60 years, right? So if they come for my guns, I'm ready to go, okay? All right. Now, do you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen? Do you know what time it is? Huh? Do you? I know you know what time it is. I know you know. It is now time, ladies and gentlemen, for the moment that you have been waiting for. Oh yes, it is time now for the adventures of Charlie Danger, Private Detective. Starring yours truly and the one, the only, Terry Joyce. Oh yes, you heard right. So without any further ado, it is now my pride and privilege to introduce to you episode 4. Episode number 4 of Charlie Danger, Private Detective.
Yes, it's Charlie Danger, Private Detective. Charlie Danger, Defender of the Constitution. And now, Charlie Danger, Private Detective.
Get this and get it straight. Crime is a sucker's road, and those who travel it today wind up in the gutter, the prison, or the grave. They never learn. For a private dick like me, the job usually spells danger. But then again, that's my name. When I opened my eyes, I didn't know where I was. It took a minute for me to realize that I was lying in my bed in my room at the Motel 6. A moment ago, I had been sitting in the Denny's with Holmes and Jane. I'd been wondering where the hell the waitress was with that cheeseburger and fries. I sat up in bed. I looked over at Holmes's sleeping form in his bed not 6 feet away. I knew that Jane was sleeping in the room directly next to ours. The clock on the nightstand revealed that it was 4 in the morning. I reached for my lucky strikes and lit one up. I knew I wouldn't be able to fall back asleep. So, after quietly donning my Percy Kilbride as Pa Kettle disguise, I quietly slipped out of the room and made my way across the parking lot to Denny's for a cup of joe. The joint was empty except for some guy and an old dame in a booth. The waitress and the cook were busy yapping on their cell phones, and I recall wondering who they could be talking to at 4:30 in the morning. The old dame in the booth was checking me out. Boy, she sure looked like she'd been through the ringer. Next thing I knew, she was waving at me. Suddenly I realized that it was Jane in her Marjorie Main as Ma Kettle disguise. The guy with her turned around to look at me, and I could see it was Gene Simmons, the guy with the tongue from Kiss. I knew, in reality, it was none other than Sherlock Holmes. I slid into the booth next to Jane.
What's the matter, big boy? Did you have a bad dream?
I just can't seem to sleep, baby, I said as I reached for my smokes. I struck a match and puffed my cigarette to life. I got tired of laying there counting sheep and decided to come over here for some joe. Besides, who can sleep when we know the feds are closing in on us? Sleep has also eluded both Miss Cannery and myself, replied Holmes. We therefore gravitated to this establishment where we have been discussing our dire predicament for some time now. It looks like we're in one hell of a mess. I motioned to the waitress. The girl was just a young kid and would have been cute except for the silver rings in her nose and lower lip. The tattoos on her arms didn't help either.
You guys gonna order anything besides coffee or what?
You must be psychic, baby. Do you read palms, too? Jane poked me in the ribs with her elbow, and I snapped into character.
Now, come to think of it, I always say that a cup of coffee is just what a feller needs when he's got a heap of things on his mind to think about. Ain't that right, Ma?
You're right as rain, Pa.
Ma Kettle replied.
Let's just say we get us another pot or two and see how it goes from there.
The girl was staring at Holmes.
You can bring along a pot for him, too, and make it snappy.
The girl scribbled something down on her pad, shook her head, and walked off. Holmes looked up from the newspaper in which he'd been so engrossed. Suddenly it dawned on me that something was terribly wrong. How could I have just left Holmes asleep in his bed in our motel room, and yet come to find him seated here in Denny's before me? There could be only one answer. "There's somebody sleeping in your bed," I said to Holmes.
Excuse me?
How long would you say it takes you to put all of that makeup on your face? Holmes raised an eyebrow.
In its entirety, about 20 minutes. Why is it that you ask?
When I left our room only minutes ago, there was somebody sleeping in your bed. I heard them snoring, and I thought it was you.
Mr. Danger, I assure you that I do not snore.
Flinging the newspaper aside, he leapt from the booth.
Follow me! There's not a moment to lose!
He dashed from the restaurant and across the parking lot. Jane and I ran after him, leaving the waitress standing there with 3 piping hot pots of fresh Maxwell House. As we caught up to him, Holmes skidded to a stop just outside the door to our room, and he held up a hand in caution. There was a dog, a great big collie. She was barking at the door to our room.
Why, it appears to be none other than Lassie,
exclaimed Holmes.
She's obviously trying to tell us something.
What is it, girl?
said Jane.
Oh, Charlie, be careful.
I pulled out my trusty .38 caliber snub-nosed heater, and I stepped forward. With one swift kick, the door flew open, and I charged inside with Jane and her Thompson right behind me. There was somebody in Holmes's bed, all right, but the bedclothes concealed their identity. With our weapons trained on the unknown intruder, we cautiously approached the bed. Holmes reached out and yanked back the covers. Our jaws all dropped in shock and disbelief. The sleeping intruder turned out to be none other than Congressman Ron Paul of Texas, known as the defender of the Constitution and the only man in Washington that can actually be trusted. He had been severely beaten, tased multiple times, waterboarded, and bound in a straitjacket. I hurried to free him from his bonds.
They threatened my life. They're afraid of my popularity and credibility. They're afraid I'll run again. Who did this to you?
Inquired Holmes.
It was Obama and Geithner and Bernanke. They said if I don't denounce the Constitution and jump on the global governance bandwagon, they'll start arresting my supporters as potential domestic terrorist threats.
Yes, but why leave you here in this hotel room?
Asked Jane as she stuffed her Thompson back into her purse.
Because they're onto your game. They want me to deliver this letter.
Holmes snatched the envelope from Ron Paul's shaking hand and opened it.
Dear Mr. Danger and Sherlock Holmes,
he read.
You are both way out of your league in this matter. We make progress towards world government every day. Our police state control grid is nearly in place. We control government, energy, financial systems, and the media. We control everything that you see and hear. We control the vertical. We control the horizontal. We can soften the news so that everything is blurred and completely out of focus, though we never, ever sharpen it to crystal clarity. Sit back and let us control every aspect of life for the unwashed masses, because resistance is futile. We are as inevitable as death, which we shall gladly bestow upon you, should you persist in opposing us.
Well, that was quite a mouthful, wasn't it?
What I find singularly interesting is the signature at the very end of this message. It was signed by none other than Professor Mariachi himself.
What do you make of it, Holmes?
It is a threat. A threat not only directed at us, but a threat meant for the entire world. There is only one way to address such a threat, and that is with concentrated effort and direct opposition. We must act quickly. There is very little time to lose.
Holmes jumped up and made a beeline for the door.
To the Winnebago! The game is afoot!
You want to come with us, girl?
Lassie wagged her tail. Personal notice. Danger is my stock and trade. If life's tossing you curves you can't handle, then you got a job for me, Charlie Danger. So reads an ad of mine in the phone book. Ordinarily, I'm a regular kind of guy, out to make a living just like anyone else, except that I pack heat and ask a lot of questions. Those are two great big no-nos in the world of the powered elite. The people I was up against weren't your common everyday crooks, liars, and killers. They were super crooks and super liars and super killers. They had just pulled off the biggest financial heist in the history of mankind, and they had broken every single law in the book. It had taken my brain a while for that to sink in, so to speak, but I finally got it. The bastards were robbing every single one of us. Every man, woman, and child born and living in the United States was being robbed blind and raked over the coals. They were sitting there on their duffs and taking it, too. They were taking it because they were being continually fed a daily diet of lies and deceit. Taking it because they didn't know where to find the truth, and because the truth, when you can find it, is pretty hard to take. However I'd managed to get involved in this mess, involved in it I was, and I'd see it through to the end. as we grabbed up Ron Paul and our belongings and headed for the Winnebago, I hoped that all of our gallant efforts wouldn't turn out to be a case of too little, too late. Once inside the Winnebago, we started putting our heads together on where we stood and what we were going to do about it. I'm willing to bet they know where we are. I say we should blow this joint now. Oh, very well. Give it here. No, I mean we should leave this place now, I said as I climbed into the driver's seat. Perhaps we should take a moment to examine this. The paper waving aloft in Sherlock Holmes's hand was unmistakably a map of some kind. It was in the envelope with the letter, he said as he handed it to me. Do you notice anything unusual about it?
It's a map of North America.
And?
And there are no northern or southern borders.
Precisely. It is indeed a map of the North American Union.
The Constitutional Restoration Army has been aware of the plans for some time now,
said Jane.
But the government and the media deny that the plans exist.
Actually, it all began with NAFTA under Clinton,
Ron Paul added.
It accelerated under the Security and Prosperity Partnership signed by Bush and continued under Obama.
The congressman went on.
It's pushed by the Rockefeller Foundation, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, and the unions, big business, and a host of public-private partnerships,
he said.
Ultimately, they would integrate the cultures, the economies, the living standards, the military defense, all the laws and governments. The United States as we know it would cease to exist.
And this is being done without the knowledge and consent of the American people? I asked in astonishment. How could they get away with that? Elementary, my dear Danger. Why does the government refuse to secure the borders? Why do they want to legalize 30 million illegal aliens and open up the floodgates for millions more? The answer is obvious. So what does all this have to do with us? We are already in crapola up to our necks. What gives? Holmes pointed to the state of Arizona on the map. What do you see there?
Somebody drew an X and scribbled a phone number.
Precisely. And that, dear girl, is where the investigation leads.
But we just came all the way from California. Are you suggesting that we now drive all the way back to Arizona?
Precisely. You see, I'm convinced that Mariachi is deeply involved in the North American Union plot.
The dog is right. We have no other choice.
Lassie's ears perked up and her tail started wagging. As the four of us continued to direct our concentration on the map and our predicament, Lassie began jumping up and down. She spun around several times and then stood upon her hind legs. She was waving her forepaws in the air and barking loudly.
I think she's trying to tell us something.
We turned around and stared through the windshield in shock at the scene that was taking place before us. The place was crawling with feds. Lights were flashing everywhere. Helicopters hovered over the motel. There were police cars, armored vehicles, troop carriers, a tank, an ambulance, a fire truck. There were cops, detectives, CIA agents, state troopers, SWAT teams, and Navy SEALs. They were all fully armed and moving into position. paratroopers drifted down from the sky to join them. Every eye, every gun was pointed at the 2 rooms that had previously been ours. Suddenly, a voice blared through a loudspeaker.
This is the police. We know you're in there. You are surrounded. Charlie, Danger, Sherlock Holmes, Jane, Canary, come out. Oh, yes, and Lassie, too. Come out with your hands up.
There we were, at the other end of the parking lot. We had the best seats in the house as we watched the entire production unfold. Holmes tapped me on the shoulder. Might I suggest that we attempt to sneak out of here as quietly and with as much stealth as possible? You could feel the tension in the air as the moments ticked by with no response from either room. The feds were gnawing at their bits, just raring to be let loose to attack. They were preparing to shoot tear gas bombs into the rooms through the windows.
You have 2 minutes to comply. I repeat, you have 2 minutes to comply, or else we're coming in there.
Jane looked over at Holmes.
I think you're right. Let's get out of here.
I was just about to fire up the engine when a loud, insistent banging on the camper door spooked us all. Ron Paul hit the floor. In an instant, my trusty heater was pointed at the door, and so was Jane's Thompson. "See who it is," I said to Holmes. Reluctantly, he approached the door, opened it, and slowly stuck his head out. It was 2 National Guardsmen in full battle gear.
"Gene Simmons!"
exclaimed one of them.
"Hey, Joe! It's Gene Simmons from KISS!"
Gosh, it's really him, isn't it?
"Apparently," replied Holmes. "What is it that I can do for you men? Is there some kind of trouble?"
"Well, I'm awfully sorry, but you're gonna have to move your bus from the area, Mr. Simmons,"
said the first one.
If bullets start flying, it could get real dangerous around here."
Wow, I don't believe it.
Relief flooded over all of us.
"I'll be sure to do so immediately,"
Holmes replied.
"Is there anything else?"
The young man seemed hesitant.
"Just one more thing, sir."
"Yes?" The young man held out an ink pen.
Could I get your autograph?"
Me too. Me too.
This is the Situation Room, and I'm Wolf Blitzer with a CNN News Alert. We're just getting information and pictures coming in of what appears to be a deadly terrorist attack in our nation's capital. This is what we know so far.
Homeland Security forces, acting on top-secret information, had cornered dangerous domestic terrorists Charlie Danger, Sherlock Holmes, Jane Cannery, and Lassie in a local Motel 6, where they were registered as Ma and Pa Kettle and Gene Simmons from the rock band Kiss. Apparently, special forces, SWAT teams, and terrorist response teams were called in, and the building was surrounded.
This is the police. We know you're in there. You are surrounded. Come out with your hands up.
When the security forces moved in on the terrorists, the entire building exploded.
We're coming in there. I repeat, we're coming in there.
At this point, we don't know for sure, but authorities suspect that this was a deliberate terrorist bombing plot to draw in and kill as many Homeland Security personnel as possible. It is not known as yet if this was indeed a suicide bombing, or if the deadly domestic terrorist somehow escaped before the explosion. We will continue with more scenes of mayhem and bedlam, as well as reports and information as fed to us from official sources and authorities in our nation's capital, right after this important word from our sponsors.
Are you not feeling as spry as you used to? Are you having a hard time getting it up when the time is right? Well, then ask your doctor if new Hard-On is right for you.
Yes, you've been listening to Charlie Danger, Private Detective. Tune in next time for the next exciting episode of Charlie Danger, Private Detective.
And there you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This week's exciting episode of Charlie Danger, Private Detective. That's right. That's right. That was exciting, wasn't it? Didn't you get excited by that? That was fantastic, wasn't it? That's right. Sweetheart loves Charlie Danger. I tell you what, boy, oh boy, you have been listening to Charlie Danger, Private Detective. And you've been listening to the Samsel Report. You're riding with Wild Bill's Freedom Posse. That's right. You have been riding with the Freedom Posse right here on Revolution Radio. Oh, man. Tune in next week for the next exciting episode of Charlie Danger, Private Detective. And you don't want to miss the Samsel Report. Oh, no, you don't want to miss that, do you? You don't want to miss the headline Roundup. I tell you what, let's look in the corral and see what we got going on in the corral. Oh, man, we got us a whole bunch of them there headline critters. We done rounded up a whole mess of them there headline critters. That's right. Let's look in the other side of the corral and see what we got going on. Oh, it's all them Washington politicians in there. Look at there. You see them? Look at there. There's Obama over there in the corner, and there's Geithner, and there's Al Gore, and there's, oh man, there's Bill Clinton, and there's Hillary. Oh my goodness. And look over there. Look over there. We got oh man, there's Bill Gates. There's Bill Gates over there hiding in the corner. Boy, oh boy, we got them all in there. Man, all them radical left-wing freaks all in there. Man, we got them all. I tell you what, you ought to be proud of yourselves because we did a real good job tonight. We did a real good job with the headline roundup. So give yourselves a big round of applause. Go ahead. Give yourselves a great big round of applause. Boy, oh boy, all my buckaroo pals out there in radio land. Man, oh man, we did real good. That's right. That's right. So you want to come back next week, okay? You want to come back next week for Wild Bill's headline roundup, okay? That's right, because it's getting pretty close to the time where old Wild Bill has to hit the trail. That's right. It's getting pretty near the time. I know. The show is almost over. That's right, darling. That's right. Sweetheart, she hates for when the program ends because it makes her sad. It makes her sad when the program is coming to a close. That's right. It just breaks her little heart. And it just hurts me to see her little heart breaking because the show is coming to a That's right. I know, darling. Where are you going? Oh, she ran away. Oh, boy, she just hates to see the show come to an end. Okay? But I tell you what, it's almost time for Wild Bill to hit the trail, okay? All right, so come back next week and join me right here on Revolution Radio, right, at 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, right, 8 o'clock Mountain Time, right, and 7 o'clock Pacific Time, okay? Those are all at the times. That's right. And Wild Bill is just happy to have you ride along with him. Okay? So it's almost time for me to be going now. That's right. So here we go. Here we go. Oh, now.
Hello? I must be going. I cannot stay, I came to say I must be going. I'm glad I came, but just the same I must be going.
For my sake you must stay, for if you go away, you'll spoil this party I am throwing.
I'll stay a week or two. I'll stay the summer through. But I am telling you, I must be going.
That's right. That's right. It's almost time for old Wild Bill to hit the trail. But I tell you what, come back next week and we'll do the whole thing all over again. Okay? All right. Would you promise me that? Because I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, man, every day it just gets more crazy. It just gets more ridiculous. It gets more ridiculous every day. I tell you, sometimes I think I'm going out of my mind here. You know, I gather up the headlines off of the internet, right? I gather up the headlines and I sit there and I say to myself, my God, I don't believe this crap. I don't believe this. What am I, losing my mind? I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we live in the Twilight Zone. Oh, yes, we do. Oh, man, we living in the Twilight Zone. I'm telling you what, we're all going broke. Right? We're all going broke. All them criminals in the district of criminals are screwing us left and right. Right? The whole world's going apeshit. Oh, excuse me. The whole world's going crazy. I mean, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous. Well, I tell you what. Come back next week and join old Wild Bill right here on Revolution Radio for the Samsel Report. Okay? We got a new call-in number so you can call in and everything. Okay? All right? So, I tell you what now, I'm getting this psychic impression in my mind. I'm getting this psychic, these cosmic vibrations that are coming into my mind, and they're telling me that the show is almost over. That's right. So I can predict, I can look into the future and predict that the show is coming to an end here. That's right. And it's almost over.
Radio at freedomslips.com. And we'll be right back after this message.